This is Field Notes of the Proving, short reflections from inside the process of building a life that's earned, not perfected, earned. Sometimes the race isn't the story. Sometimes the story is who you're standing next to at the starting line. And that's what Mystic was. Not a personal record, not a breakthrough performance, not even the race itself. Mystic was the first time I got to watch someone I care about truly become a runner. After Shamrock Marathon, I actually discovered something unexpectedly, quite honestly, that Denise wanted to run. Now, if you know Denise and me, that's kind of a dangerous combination because when we're together, it's just constant jokes, constant belly laughs. It's, kind of the friendship where almost nothing stays serious for really longer than 2 minutes. We could literally spend hours talking about absolutely nothing and somehow literally have the time of our lives. But after Shamrock, running became something different. She really wanted to train. She wanted to see what she could do. She wanted to become a runner. The goal was the Napa to Sonoma half marathon in July. But before that, she wanted a race, basically to test herself, experience the race day. Being from Connecticut, she found a race in Mystic, so she signed up for a 10K. I saw that there was a half marathon available in Mystic, so naturally I signed up too. Every runner knows, if you know, you're signing up for a half marathon just to see what you can do. And for me, this was basically a check-in, just kind of a progress report. I guess a way to see, or a chance to see where I actually stood, because I knew what was coming next. That on May 31st, I'd be heading to Loudoun County, Virginia, an absolute brutal half marathon with legit hills everywhere. The kind of course that kind of doesn't care how fast you are, only how strong you are. That race would effectively become my practice half marathon before Napa to Sonoma. So Mystic really wasn't just another race. It was a benchmark, kind of a chance to ask a simple question that after Shamrock, after the knee, after all the physical therapy, where do I actually stand? The marathon training cycle basically was over. The knee was still a story. Physical therapy had become part of my life. And while I wasn't completely healthy, I was healthier. I wanted to know what that meant. Was I still improving? Was I still moving forward? Was the work paying off? Mystic would give me that answer. But most importantly, it would give Denise her first race. Honestly, the night before was perfect. So we picked up our bibs, we walked through the expo, we got our race shirts and just walked around Mystic, literally talking about life and people, literally absolutely everything, the way like a best friends really would do. And yes, there were opportunities to have a little bit more fun than we probably should have. If you know me and Denise, a glass of wine can be easily become multiple glasses of wine, Cosmos, and then maybe we order another bottle basically, but not this time. We were very responsible. We had a race. So we called it a night, set the alarms, and got some sleep because the morning was coming quickly. Race mornings are funny. By this point, I kind of knew the routine. You kind of lay out everything the night before. You kind of do a little light stretching, before I go to bed. And then by the morning, it's the same routine. You wake up, get dressed, eat something simple, stretch, find the starting line. Nothing felt unusual. Nothing felt overwhelming. Nothing felt new. Cool as a cucumber. Denise, she was going to shit an absolute brick. And honestly, it was my favorite part of the entire weekend because I got to watch someone experience race morning for the very first time. And the closer we got to the starting area, the more amazed that she became. The runners and the volunteers, the corrals, all the announcements and the music, the stretching, the warm-ups, the nervous energy kind of fluttering in and out. Everywhere she looked, people were preparing, focusing, just taking this so seriously. And I remember looking around almost in disbelief because until that point, running had mostly been training runs and practice and preparation. But this was a race, a real one. Thousands of people waking up before sunrise, all chasing their own version of basically the same thing. And I think what surprised her most was realizing that there was an entire community behind it, a whole world that she didn't really know existed. For me, it was normal. For Denise, it was like stepping backstage, quite honestly, and seeing how everything worked for the first time. And I loved watching it because it reminded me of what it felt like, the wonder, the excitement, the nerves, the possibility. At 7:01 in the morning, the gun goes off. And just like that, we're moving. The half marathon runners, the 10K runners, everyone in this race was running together. One giant wave just moving through Mystic. For the first few miles, we kind of shared the roads, the same scenery, the same experience, but eventually the course split. So the 10K runners peeled off right, half marathoners continued on straight. And I remember thinking, all right, this is it. Denise was about to run her first race, not a training run, not a practice, a race, her race. And honestly, I was more excited for her than I was for myself. And my gosh, what a beautiful, beautiful race. For miles, you're running along the water. Views seem endless. The rows stretched out forever. The air was cool. Scenery felt untouched. It wasn't Disney with no fireworks, no DJ, no giant production, no sensory overload. Just runners, roads, water, trees. And somehow that made it feel even more special. I settled into a small group, nothing dramatic, no heroics, just running, steady, very comfortable and controlled. The course rolled gently at first. Then the hills, started to show up. Not huge, but enough to remind you that every mile still needed to be earned. And after the split, the race became quieter, much quieter. There were stretches where it almost felt like I was alone, long roads, forested sections, moments where I generally wondered if I was still on the right course. And honestly, I kind of loved it. There was something peaceful about it, something simple, just me, the road, and just the work ahead. My goal for this point wasn't complicated. I wanted to run well, finish healthy. And secretly, I wanted to see an hour 30 something on the clock. Even if it was barely an hour 39, an hour 38, anything. I just wanted proof that I was moving forward. The race felt strong. The splits felt controlled. And mile after mile, I just kept moving. 7:52, 7:58, 7:51, 7:55, 7:27, 7:51, 7:37, 7:43, 7:18, 7:42, 7:08, 7:17, and then finally a 7-minute mile to close. When I crossed the finish line, the clock read 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 11 seconds. 11 seconds. 11 seconds away from seeing an hour 30 something. And honestly, I wasn't thrilled. I wasn't upset either, but a year earlier, I would have obsessed over the 11 seconds. I would have replayed every mile, every turn, every decision, trying to figure out where I lost them. But this time, I knew something I didn't know before. There was more fitness coming, that there was more training coming, and that the story wasn't over. This wasn't the destination. At the end of the day, this was just another step. Because the truth is, the best part of Mystic wasn't the finish line, and it wasn't even my finish time. It was Denise as she ran her first race and crossing the finish line. I got to watch someone I cared about discover something that had become incredibly meaningful to me. Running started as something I did alone, something I kept really to myself. Something I was almost afraid to talk about, because talking about it obviously became real. But standing there in Mystic and watching Denise cross her finish line for her first race, I realized something, that the journey had become bigger than just me. Running wasn't changing my life anymore. It was truly creating connections, experiences, and a really great, funny, and really rewarding memories. And maybe that's what made the day so special. Not the clock, not the pace, not the medal, the company. Mystic wasn't the fastest race I ever ran, but it wasn't even the biggest race either. It was certainly not the most dramatic, but it taught me something really important, that the journey becomes a lot more meaningful when you stop carrying it alone. Because somewhere between the bib pickup, the starting line, the course split, and the finish line, I realized that running wasn't changing me anymore. It was bringing people with me. And looking back, this may be the most important milestone of all. The work continues.